Hello, my name is David Becker with the American Public University System. This is a short presentation about English 101 and the new iRubrics used for assignments. Before we begin, some quick updates about iRubric for this term. iRubric is now available and embedded for all assignments starting with March 2016. That's Winter D term. New iRubrics exist for assignments 2 and 3 and the after action reports. Note though that there's been some changes to the rubrics as a part of the update. Assignments 2 and 3 have a very similar rubric with just minor changes, but the after action reports are all new. Please familiarize yourself with the new rubrics ahead of the term start, which is March 7, 2016. To see where to find iRubric in your English 101 classroom, we'll take a look at a typical class, a typical section of English 101, and you'll note that the arrow is pointing to the Week 2 Essay 1, which is the definition essay. In this particular section, there's been 21 assignments submitted. If you click on the 21, you'll see that we're brought to a list of assignments submitted by the students in class. Here, this is the bottom of one of the assignments submitted by a student. You'll note a small image that looks like a graph at the bottom of the page for each student's assignment submission, like here. It is immediately to the right of the location where you used to type the numeric score for each assignment. Please note that when you click on that image, a new window will pop up. You'll see the arrow pointing to it on this screen here. And you'll see the iRubric icon at the top of the page. This is the screen that you will use to grade the assignments using iRubric. Now this is just a sample, but you'll note that I clicked here on the cell for competent. This is the very top of the iRubric for introduction. When I clicked on the cell for competent, the cell turned blue to show that I chose it. You can see at the top of the column that the competent field is worth 3 points. A score of 3 was automatically placed in the far right column. That's the right red circle. You don't have to do any additional work. That 3 will show up there for you. One question some staff members have had is whether or not you can add your own typing, your own words to the rubric, and you can. Gives you the opportunity to type additional feedback in the box next to that category. In this case, introduction. When you click on the text box, it enlarges slightly, as you can see in the image here. I don't like to use the text box here. I use the text box in Sakai because it appears larger. I think the typing here might get lost in the shuffle, but I'd like to hear from you at the collaboration site if you prefer the text boxes here instead. In any case, you may type here and your students will see the comments. They will be saved for them to see. It's worth mentioning that you are able to change the numeric values in the cells as well. Here the category for the definition essay is the title. The furthest column to the right says there is no title. You can see the arrow pointing to it. However, the numeric value remains a 2. I put a little red circle around it. This is a case where I changed the 2 to a 0. There are a few categories like this in our rubrics, like the one below it, Works Cited. If a student doesn't give you a Works Cited page, of course, it would earn a 0. You can make those changes here, but I would strongly recommend against making numeric changes in other categories. One of the reasons that iRubric is so valuable is that it helps with inter-rater reliability. In other words, how you grade an assignment should now be the same way that I grade the assignment. Consistency is important across the course because of how many instructors are teaching this class. There's a lot of sections for English 101. When you finish clicking on the cells that correspond to a student's score, you can click Save Score. It's the gray button that the red arrow points to here, and you'll be done. If you've missed a cell or category, you will be prompted to return and rescore by clicking on the necessary cell. Here again, you are able to leave both additional typed feedback or private notes. I prefer to use the text box in Sakai as it's easier for a student to see quickly, but I mentioned that before. And we have success. This grade now will be recorded in the class. Note that you have the chance to rescore this assignment if you wish, either here or once again by clicking on the small graphic on the bottom of the page. Now, the first time I used iRubric, I had a heart attack after closing the window with the rubric and seeing this screen. This is normal. You can see above that it says it is, in quotes, grading. When you click on that link, the page will refresh and the proper grade will be in its location. As you can see, I clicked refresh, and now that score has loaded there. You can now click Save and Release, and the grade of 80.25 will now show up in the assignment page. Some final thoughts for this presentation about iRubric. Who is English 101, but other classes are using this tool as well. When I was looking at some of the other iRubrics stuff floating around in their sandbox, where we could test the rubrics out, there were quite a few other I guess, disciplines that were using iRubric with APUS. So it would not surprise me to see a lot of this popping up soon. The why, I mentioned this a little bit ago about inter-rater reliability. Grades should be consistent. What we use to measure grades should be consistent as well. That's important to make sure that everybody's classes are being scored the same way. That doesn't mean that we might agree on the score for an essay. We'll all probably grade an essay a little bit differently, but the rubric doesn't change, and that is an important distinction. Another why, again, it saves a tremendous amount of time. Students now have a rubric they can see without you copying and pasting material in one of many ways. I know how I used to do it. I would copy and paste the rubric after I went in and I would highlight the text and change the color on it. Then I'd paste that inside the Word document. Then I'd save that as a PDF. For me personally, several steps were taken out now, and it's a lot of time saved. I know in speaking to some of the other instructors, they feel the same way. This is not just me that's seeing that there is a time savings here. Now, please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. I know we'll be speaking at the faculty meeting on Wednesday, February 24th, but of course it doesn't end there. There's a number of ways to get in touch with me. There is the collaboration site. I'll be posting the link for this video there, and we can of course have our conversations. But there is my email with APUS on the screen here. You can get in contact with me anytime you feel the need to. I hope this has been educational for you. I hope it helps. I know that there's always a little bit of anxiety when there's something new, something different to try. But I like iRubric. I think it will save a lot of time. It has saved a lot of my time, to be honest, and I hope you feel the same way. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to talk to you soon.